Hey guys, Dominic here. You know me from class. I sit in the front row. I have a little video essay for you guys today talking about a really close group of friends that I have. I've known these guys for almost a decade at this point, some of them less, maybe some of them a little bit more. So I hope you enjoy what I prepared for you. It's pretty long if you're watching this after. It's gonna be a long video, but if you're watching it in class, well, we've got 5 minutes for presentation, so I hope you enjoy. Friendship, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, is defined as a state of enduring affection, esteem, intimacy, and trust between two people. However, we know that friendship is more than just a definition. As we've seen within our class, kinship bonds can be formed in a plethora of ways. With the popularization of social media, how friendships develop and are maintained has changed drastically. More specifically, online gaming as a medium for fictive kinship bonding has become an area of interest for many researchers looking to examine the online and offline interactions. Per Matthew Ponsford in his dissertation, The Mutual Interaction of Online and Offline Identities in Massive Multiplayer Online Gaming Communities, a study of EVE Online players. In this video essay, I will be asking 5 of my friends that I have known online for nearly a decade a series of questions pertaining to the formation of these fictive kinship bonds, known as friendship. The first question that I was asked them was, how do we become friends?
We became friends through Cole, so someone who I also met playing a video game. It was probably, God, I think I was 15 or 16, so this would have been probably a good 6 years ago now.
And how did you meet Cole?
I met him through a guild in World of Warcraft when I was about 14.
We met each other in high school, and we became friends through just interacting with each other in person in school. I think it was me and Cole sat with each other at lunch in sophomore year, and we just started like talking more and more, and ended up joining the Discord, and we all met. Like I met everyone through there.
I'd put it just early 2010s.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably a good estimate. It's hard to track. I mean, it's been so many years.
I'm not a numbers guy either. I don't remember dates and stuff like that. But I do. I just met you in my childhood, friend of a friend.
That's fair.
We became friends in high school when a mutual friend introduced us to each other, and our friend group grew from there. Through you, I met multiple people that we still talk to and are actively in our group, and I think you did as well.
Uh, Childhood.
Childhood. A perfect
Yeah.
answer. A perfect answer.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I don't remember. Like, I was like, what, 5?
Probably.
I don't know.
That's fair. This is a very simple question, but it opens up the discussion about how fictive kinship bonds evolve when there are more individuals added to a group, and how said group develops an identity. A 2021 paper by Sun and colleagues titled Let's Bail, The Evolution of Individual Group Affiliation in an Online Gaming Community, discusses the concept of ecological theory of niches as applied to group identity. In their work, they state that a grade of membership is present within groups and determines how individuals can form a group attachment and interpersonal bonds as well. In small groups, the grade is higher, as more personal communication is available. But in large groups, the opposite is true. This applies directly to the formation of fictive kinship bonds in an online community. As the group grows, more bonds can be formed. But after a certain point, it becomes too challenging to manage all those connections. The next question that I asked was, over the various years, how do you think our group has grown?
No, so I would say that over the years we've sort of gained a lot of other members to the group. I feel like you and I have become pretty good friends. Um, yeah, no, I feel like through playing games and other things that we've really added a lot of members to the group. A lot of people have grown apart, but I think that's just kind of what happens due to how you grew up. I feel like we all met when we were pretty young, like I was 14, 15, and people sort of change a lot within that time. So that's sort of bound to happen, in my opinion. Interests change, people change, but overall, I think we've got a lot of other people that we usually communicate with.
Well, there's definitely been ups and downs, but I think over the most part, we've all grown closer together. Some people have split off, but I think that's going to happen in any group. But overall, I think we've grown in maturity a lot, and just overall, as a group, and like our relationships towards each other have grown massively.
I think our group's grown more compassionate for each other over the years. I think when we were kids, it was more so just a gathering of common minds that common interests and had fun together. And now it's like it's a little bit more of a family than a friend group now, you know?
I completely agree with that. Do you think there are kind of like roles that are associated with like becoming a family? Like,
Kind of, but it's not as strict almost as a normal family. It's not like I mean, yeah, Dad Dorian, but it's not like you're just strictly the dad of the friend group of being responsible for that. There's more like little niches that we fit in with friends of like, well, you're really sociable and you're good with people, and we have this dude who's a little bit shy, but he comes around and he can make everybody crack up. And I don't know, we've kind of changed, not changed per se, but I think just over the years, our gaps in personality have just been kind of melded together.
yeah.
So it's less like there's roles in our friend group, I'd say, but more. Oh, I'm looking for a specific word, but I don't know. Everyone has kind of a place in the thing they do and stick to, but I think that's just kind of more being people than they're more being specific roles in our friend group.
Yep. So over the various years, how do you think the group has grown? This can be any way. This can be size. This can be like maturity, anything.
We've definitely all changed a lot in personality and as people. Like growing up from high school, like everyone learns a lot. And we have grown in size. We've shrunk in size. People have come and gone. But everyone still cares about each other. We're trying to do our best and become better people.
Well, I mean, it's definitely been interesting to see us all mature as people and like go through like phases. Sometimes as like groupthink, and other times not. Like it's interesting to see how the groupthink has changed over time too. As I don't want to say people got better, but people grew.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There were various responses that were provided with this section, but a major focus wasn't the growth of the group literally, but the growth of the group intimately. Many of my friends believe that we have grown together in a supportive and caring manner. This compassionate environment works contrary to the public perception of gamers, insofar that all people who play games are misogynistic fools. The dynamic presented in our group opposes findings of Naidoo and colleagues in their 2019 paper, Exploring Gender Discursive Struggles about Social Inclusion in an Online Gaming Community. A key statement in their work is that games are a gendered leisure activity that supports notions of male dominance and differences from women. At a fundamental level, I do not disagree with their work, and I believe that it shines an important light on the disparity that women face in online gaming communities. However, I also believe it serves as a point of contrast to our group dynamic. As you will hear in the next section, we were the first group of people that Thea talked to about their transition. something that is an immensely challenging aspect of any individual's life. The growth of our group together and the strengthening of our bonds provided a safe, nurturing environment for our friend to continue her own personal growth. Thus, while it is true that gaming is a male-dominated space, the right people really can make all the difference. The next question I asked was, has there been a time where the group has helped you with a challenging portion of your life?
Oh, absolutely. So, I really struggled like when I was a teenager with like mental health, and I feel like I was always pretty good about sort of managing my mental health, but it was a struggle when I was sort of like a younger teen and my teenage years because just due to the nature of my dad's job, we moved around a lot, and so sort of when I met Cole and you guys, I had like just moved to a new place in Texas from Wisconsin, and so I knew pretty much nobody. So I basically had no friends going into middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a really big school district, and the culture there was just like way different from what I was used to. So it was a lot harder to make friends in real life. And so having everyone online was it was definitely extremely helpful to me, just like be able to talk to people that I sort of like had a common connection with, like the games I played.
Yeah.
And so no, that was huge. It definitely helped me a lot mentally, and sort of gave me a good support group.
Definitely. There's been multiple times where I went into different depressive episodes, and everyone in the group has been super supportive of them and helped me get straight through it. And I know other people have had the same issues, and we've all been right there to help anyone that's having issues.
Oh god, dude, my entire childhood. I won't get too into the spiel here because you've heard it a million times, but my life wasn't good. I was poor. My parent was abusive. My mom, bless her heart, worked her ass off, so she was always out of the house working 40 plus hours a week. And so I didn't really have anyone besides my siblings and my online friends. And I'm an introvert. I don't leave the house. I'm not good at making friends. And so, like, you guys were the people I had going into that. Going into every single day, I know I could boot up online and meet at least 2 of my buddies online, if not 7 plus different people to hang out with that day. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Everyone is going through hard times coming out of high school, going into college, figuring out what they want to do with their life, and having people close by that you can talk to, figure out what you want to do, figure out what they want to do. Just even if you're just talking about it, if you don't get an answer, you get your thoughts out there.
Oh, I really enjoy that, like, there's been a shift. Like, I mean, so, like, there was never any resistance anyway, because, yeah, I mean, we were all close enough that I personally felt like it didn't really matter. I mean, you guys were the first of my friends that I told, like, in general, other than, like, 2 people that I talked to on, like, a daily basis.
Yeah.
So it was like, I never really had too much concern. I mean, especially because, again, I had watched us change over the years, and I knew that we were, like, accepting people at this point, that it, like, I didn't, like, yeah, and I had gotten to the point where I was confident enough in myself to be like, yeah, it's, like, cool. But, it's, so, like, it's never really been bad, but has it changed things? Like, yeah, it's definitely been a little, different. But it's like, yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm still just one of like the one of the dudes. I'm still just like I'm still just here vibing. Like
Always.
Nothing's really changed. And like I said earlier, what you thought was funny was I enjoy the trans inclusive misogyny from friends, like in a like jesting manner, which I know like it's not serious misogyny, but it's humorous to get that like a little bit of euphoria out of like something really dumb.
This question had a lot of weight behind it, and there were several answers that reinforced that the group has been crucial in overcoming challenges in life. One particular focus my friends spotted out was on mental health, with a more critical focus on depression for several individuals. In a 2014 paper by Granic and colleagues titled "The Benefits of Playing Video Games," it was found that some of the most intense, positive emotional experiences are triggered in the context of playing a video game. In addition to this, their work found that over 70% of all gamers played games in a social environment and derived a greater sense of enjoyment from the experience. Using this paper as a lens, we can view the group as a positive force that, when employed with video games, allows for the positive support of its fellow members. Thus, the online nature of video game groups broadly, and our group specifically, show that video game interactions are a legitimate means of forming positive and lasting connections.
I'd say it's both been a very good and bad influence. I would say that it has affected my social life. Well, first, I know all of y'all pretty well. I mean, we've met up in real life multiple times, even though we live like 600 miles away. So that's pretty cool. I think it's really helped me. It's helped develop my social skills a lot. Like just being able to talk to people. It's helped me keep from isolating myself. So in that regard, it's really helped me with that. I'd say bad things. Sometimes internet culture can be kind of or like there's like a lot of inside jokes, and so sometimes it can be hard when you're like talking to other friends in real life and they're not like in on the inside jokes. You know, it kind of limits things to talk about. Or I remember especially too, like friends I had in real life when I was playing games like World of Warcraft for 12, 14 hours a day. It sort of limits the scope of like what you can talk about.
Most of my social interaction is through online. Whenever I was younger, like 10 to 15, all my social interaction came through Xbox. So I had people that I played with every single day on there that became some of my best friends that I don't even have contact with now, and there's some people that I still talk to every day. They've shaped who I am as a person massively, and I definitely wouldn't be the same person I am today without them.
Positively and detrimentally. So I'm definitely like a lot more jaded, honestly. Online games, like it's community. It's something else. But it's also like that's where I broke out of my shell was online gaming. I mean, you've never heard me talk to people like you have when I'm in a video game.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, it's online gaming has definitely changed my life. Like, it wouldn't be the same if I couldn't go online and connect to another world with my friends, you know? Like, it's a whole different thing.
Online gaming has impacted my social life in such a positive way. Like, there are many negative and toxic people on the internet, but if you surround yourself with the right people and try to form relationships with positive and helpful people that you can help as well, and you all grow together, there's not a lot of negatives as long as you avoid them yourself.
Ooh. Okay, well, it's definitely made my social life different. You know, spend like less time going out and more time interacting with people through a screen. So that can be good or bad, you know. But it's affected it a lot.
Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, for sure.
So like I again, I don't think it's like an overtly like negative or positive. It just depends on like limits and like remembering to do things outside of like online stuff as well.
The impacts of online gaming groups on social interaction are often conflated with being a loner or a loser, but that isn't the case. As you've heard from many in the group, the online community we have created has allowed us to develop more robust social skills and further grow as individuals. In the same Granic and colleagues paper, it was stated that players seem to acquire important pro-social skills when they play games that are specifically designed to reward effective cooperation, support, and helping behaviors. The benefits of playing video games with a cohesive group of individuals is shown to help facilitate the growth of pro-social behaviors, going against the notion that video games are for loners. I believe this is exemplified by some of Caleb's statements about being an introvert, but still being able to make friends online. The last question I asked them was, what are the benefits and negatives to having an online friend group? Does the pro outweigh the con?
To start with the second question, I'd say that the pros absolutely outweigh the cons. I'd say the nice thing about having an online friend group is that it's something that like with real life friends, I play video games with my real life friends, but a lot of times it's just different not meeting up in person.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you sort of start a friendship online, you can sort of always meet up on an online platform, and it doesn't feel like anything's really changed.
Yeah.
So it was nice when I was in school that I was extremely busy with my studies, and I wasn't really ever on Discord throughout most of college. But it's really nice just being able to just pick up, my phone or computer whenever I have time and just stop in for an hour, just see what's going on. And from that respect, it feels like you haven't really missed any time.
Yeah.
Because the games are always there. There's always something to talk about. As far as the cons go, I'd say sometimes it's hard when if you have an online friendship and real life stuff just piles up. Sometimes it can be hard to stay in touch with your friends online. But overall, no, I think that's the only con I can really think of.
Okay.
I definitely think the pros outweigh the cons just because we all have friends that are online that know us probably better than anybody in person, other than a significant other, anything like that, of course. But there's people that I have never met in person and probably won't meet in person that know me better than the people I see on a daily basis.
As amazing as it is to be able to connect with your friends anytime, anywhere, I don't know per se about other people, but I get burnout because there are so many people you can meet online, and I do pick up a decent amount of friends, even as introverted as I am. The flip side of that is there are so many people that you can meet online that I feel bad trying to keep up with them and then not keeping up with them, and then
No, I hear you there.
I mean, it's similar to real life in that sense too. Every passerby is a person, and you can have friendships that fade away into the back, and it's just as stressful as a real relationship.
Absolutely, dude. I feel
But
that.
it comes with the same benefits of a real relationship, maybe even more so, because I mean, like I said, you can connect with anyone anywhere.
Being able to spend more time with your friends because you can't always meet in person, especially recently when we went through a global pandemic, everybody was still able to spend time together. It was like nothing changed as far as that goes. But also sometimes seeing them so much can make it difficult. Sometimes you need your own space too.
I mean, pros are. I mean, I really don't think that it's that much different than having a group of friends you spend time with in person. It's just the medium of communication and connection is different. So the cons are that you don't. So you miss out on some of the nuances of subtle communications, right? When it comes to body language and shit. But I mean, usually that's not super important for just not just vibing for the most part. However, that's noticeable, probably. But pros and cons, I think the pros outweigh the cons for sure. Like, cons could be like, it's hard to nail down specific cons because I'm firmly in the support of
Online groups.
just in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely.
This final point will be less of an academic analysis and more of an honest discussion about the group. As you have heard by now, everyone interviewed has incredibly positive views on using online platforms as a medium for developing and maintaining fictive kinship bonds. Indeed, maintaining a healthy online relationship with others can be very challenging, as many others have stated throughout the process, but that is ultimately overshadowed by the positive, plentiful returns that all members gain from being part of the group. Our group is like a family, and just as we've discussed in class, there are certain obligations that come with being part of a family. At times, it is very challenging to fulfill these obligations, and it may lead to conflict or stress on the fictive kinship bonds. Yet, at the end of it all, the connections that have been formed are most certainly worth the effort, and online communities should really be viewed as equally as another familial group. I would like to personally thank Thea, Josh, Cole, Caleb, and Taylor for taking time to do these interviews with me and provide honest responses. None of them had access to the questions before we spoke, and they all agreed on a whim to help me with the project. No questions or critiques, just earnest support. As I've undoubtedly said many times, online communities can foster bonds as strong as blood.